y'all, I'm Chase, and this is my 2017 Road King with a Milwaukee-Eight 107, affectionately known as Alice. Woo! She sounds nice. This is my first ride after putting on the Vance Hines VO2 air cleaner. Ooh, she sounds vicious. Ooh. Like she got some grunt to her. What are we going to talk about this episode? Well, hell. Since we were already on the topic last episode, this one we are going to talk about Vance Hines. Why? Well, I don't want anyone to think that I hate them or that buying their products is a bad idea. Maybe I am just, I don't know, aberration. Maybe my problems are just having bad luck. But I hate to say this, but after seeing some of the reviews on some of the stuff I've bought, I don't tend to look at reviews too often. But yeah, I think that maybe some of that, those reviews might have been warning of the same problems that I've had. Man, that intake, boy, it growls. It's got quite some growl to it, so. But I don't hate Vance and Hines. I feel like they should be better than they are. And maybe, like I said, maybe it's my luck. I mean, look at my my Memphis Shades Road Warrior fairing, the windshield. It cracked when I put it on. In fact, every single one of the little nuts cracked that hold the windshield on, where it cracked right around where that windshield is. So now I bought a new one. I mean, I didn't put them on with a screwdriver or anything. I mean, I used bare hands on the first one and used bare hands on the second one. And the second one, I did everything in my power to make sure that it wasn't going to have the same problem. So I ended up putting rubber washers in between. So even if I squeezed down, it was still some rubber in between there. Now that solved the problem. I don't think that there's a fix to the problem that I had with the filter or the exhaust, the competition 2-in-1 exhaust that I had on my dyno. The metal just flaked off, or I'm sorry, the paint just flaked off on the competition 2-in-1 exhaust on my dyno. It just literally was just falling off. And it wasn't like it was just at the headers because, oh, they got too hot. I mean, it was all the way down at the back. It was just flaking off. That's a poor application of paint job. My guess is it wasn't properly prepped or something, because that's usually what happens when you see paint flaking off of stuff. It wasn't properly prepped. With this filter, my guess is, like I think I said in the last video, it wasn't because it's a bad design. No, the design is fine. It's that somebody must not have, I'm guessing that the parts are drilled. There's probably a press involved or something, and the drill bits are probably worn down from, you know, just popping so many out. I'm guessing there's a 3-bit drill press. Somebody throws a piece on there and they pull down on it, and it, you know, it's got a little a guide, and it pops those 3 holes in, and that's it. Now, if the drill bits are worn, going through that tiny little piece of metal, it's going to go through still. But if the outside of the bit has worn down some, it's making a smaller hole than what it used to. So that's the problem with tooling. Tooling wears out. And if you don't fix it or put new tools in, or, you know, a new, you know, blade or drill bit or something like that, then you're going to start having parts that don't quite fit. I think it's called tolerance stacking. I used to work as a guy that ran, well, let's just call them some heavy-duty machinery somewhere, and it was involving like car wheels, truck wheels, stuff like that. And if a tool started to wear down, your inner diameter of the wheel or your outer diameter of the wheel, wherever it was wearing down, it wouldn't get cut as smoothly, or it wouldn't be the right size, you know, and then you'd have to send it to some, well, I did that too, I did rework, where somebody had to literally almost hand grind it to where they got it down to the size that it was supposed to be. So, because somebody screwed up and wasn't running a micrometer on the parts as often as they should, often, well, the parts would come to me and I would have to fix them. Now, my OCD helped with that, but if you don't have somebody, I mean, it should just be a simple go and no-go gauge. And not only that, but I'm guessing that the screws, I don't know what happened with the screws. You could tell they were button head screws. You could tell they were off. I mean, even I got them in the right way, and they were still, you could see the head rotating, and it was not perfectly circular. It was like it was oblong. So that's a problem. That means it might not seal up against the plate, you know, flush. I scratched my chin putting on my helmet. I might have. But if the screws aren't sitting flush, you might get some dust or dirt coming in because there's a slightly just open hole where you're screwing those screws in, and it could put a little bit of dirt in your engine or dust or God knows what else. Now, luckily, I had a cover laying around because I was just going to go with the just plain filter, but I had a cover laying around. So, and there is rubber on the outside of the filter, so when I put the cover on, that actually seals those holes off so nothing can get in. So I lucked out. But what if I was just some guy that didn't have that, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to run it, you know, without the cover over the outside? Well, then that becomes a problem. And that is a very, very bad problem because that will mess up your engine, sucking dirt and anything else into it. It's not good for your motor. Air and fuel, that's it. It's not supposed to have air, fuel, and dirt, air, fuel, and water, or any of that other crap. So, but back to what I was saying, do I hate Vance Hines? No. But I buy everything myself. If anybody ever sends me anything, I will review it on its own merits. I will not be biased. I'm not going to say, oh, it's the greatest thing ever because they gave it to me or paid me money. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. If you're a manufacturer and that's how you make your money, well, I'm sorry, we're not going to collaborate, or you're not going to be with my brand. I don't know what you want to call it. I'm going to give an honest review. If your stuff is good and it works, and I don't have any problems installing it, or after installation, I don't have any problems with it, I'm going to say that. I mean, I've done reviews on mechanics gloves. I mean, I'll review anything. Honestly, as long as it's for motorcycles, yeah, I'll review it. And I'll give it an honest review. But everything I've done so far, I buy with my own money, so. I expect more out of Vance Hines because they are, I don't even know what you want to call it, super duper utterly popular. I mean, they have sponsorship for what is it, that bagger racing league. They sponsor a bunch of stuff. But no, I do not hate them. I think it's because they're such a large company, I expect more out of them. So, I know, maybe I shouldn't, but you see something that says made in the USA, you see that it's Vance Hines, and you just tend to expect more out of them. Now, as far as have I had better installs? Absolutely. I bought an intake from Lowbrow Customs, and it was very cheap. It was cheaper than this one by about $80. So I don't know if that's better or worse, but it was cheaper than this one by $80, and I had no problem with the install whatsoever. Now, I did have problems with Lowbrow Customs breather bolts. They kept snapping off. So, there again, I bought them. I have no problem saying, that, they were inferior. They were not very good. I literally snapped off 2 sets of bolts, and then I ordered a new set. They sent me a brand new set, and I snapped the second one off. Now, the best part was the bolts are only supposed to be tightened to 5 foot-pounds. That's what I did with the first set. That's why they snapped off. The second set, I only tightened them to 1 foot-pound, and they still snapped off. I looked at them, you could tell the grain structure in the bolts was not correct. It was really just dusty looking. So somebody hadn't been properly melted down, or I don't know, forged. I don't know what they do with them. But I ordered a set from TC Brothers, plugged those puppies in, tightened them down to 5 foot-pounds, and never had another problem out of them again. So TC Bros, awesome breather bolts. I would buy them again. In fact, I'm thinking about buying them for this bike so I don't have to have an external breather catch can and a hose and all that. So but that's the thing, I'm mostly just disappointed because I expect more out of them. And that's kind of, it's just the way things have been going with everyone. Everybody thinks that, a company can just go along on the name alone and they can just make whatever, and it doesn't matter if it's good or not. It just matters that it has the name on it. But will I buy more Vance and Hines products? Sure. I'm willing to try out anything once. Will I buy another one of their painted pipes? That's a rough ask or question. Likely? Probably not. Sorry. I'm one of those guys, you burn me once and it's really hard to get my trust back on something. Now, is this a bad product? Well, we'll see. I'll probably give another review on how parts are holding up on this bike at some point. So, we'll see how it holds up. But for right now, even though I had to do some modifications, not the modification to the oil or the breather bolts, not that. That's something I did on my own. That's something I do with everything I buy. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to throw that hot, nasty gases and oil and crap right back into the filter and mess up the whole tune. So I'm not going to do that. But the part where I had to literally drill the air filter itself to get it to fit, that was a problem. That should not be. That shouldn't happen. So, if Vance and Hines wants to make it right and send me something, yeah, I'll take it. I'll try it out. But I'm going to give an honest review, and I'm going to say whether it was an easy install or a hard install, or if I had to make modifications. So there's no freebies, I guess, when it comes to reviewing anything for me. I'm not going to just give you a, hey, this is a great product, and I had to literally drill holes larger than they were because something wasn't done right. That's not something I do. That's not something I'm gonna do. But I guess that's gonna be all I just wanted to clarify. No, it's not hate for Vance and Hines. I think they're still a good company. I mean, maybe I'm just very, very, very unlucky. But yeah, if you have any opinions, that's fine. Go ahead and voice them down in the comments section. Also, if you could like and subscribe, that helps with the YouTube algorithm. I don't know how many subscribers I have, but I'm sure it's not many. Also, if you do subscribe, flick that ding-a-ling, ring that bell. That helps too if you want to be apprised of any new videos I come out with. And bye, y'all.